This is the FM Gold channel of All India Radio. In the program Spotlight, now we bring you a discussion on development policies and projects in Jammu and Kashmir. The participants are Ashok Tandon, political analyst, and Nikunj Garg, journalist.
Mr. Tandon, now the much touted and unprecedented in that sense government's outreach of ministerial visits in the form of ministerial visits to Jammu and Kashmir has picked up, and we have seen how Mukhtar Abbas Naqvi, Minority Affairs Minister, was yesterday mingling with people on the streets of Srinagar. So you think what Mr. Naqvi was saying, that they wish to spread a message of positivity, you think it is possible with these kind of visits?
See, in August last, when 370 was abrogated and the state was bifurcated, the top priority for the central government was to ensure safety of the people, security also, and also to check that there is no infiltration from across the border, because it came as a big shock to Pakistan that the government of India could take such a bold step. So obviously there was a lot of frustration across the border, and there were apprehensions that they may try to do some mischief. So therefore the priority for the security forces was to seal that infiltration from the border or any mischief from Pakistan, ISI, or even the military. So that has been ensured in the last 6 months. The second challenge before the government was the diplomatic fallout of such a historic move. And on that score also we see that on all international fora, Pakistan got isolated. In fact, Prime Minister Imran Khan has admitted that Pakistan is isolated on the Kashmir issue because there are no takers of Pakistan's stand. So having done that, obviously the next step was to be development. Because when the diplomats visited the valley recently, all New Delhi based foreign diplomats, they also felt the need that people are now waiting for developmental activity to start. And therefore this kind of a carpet bombing of 36 ministers visiting the state in 1 week. And obviously when the ministers visit, there is a lot of other official paraphernalia also going. So this also, I think, is one of the objectives is to instill a sense of confidence, not only among the people living there, but also people all over the country and abroad, that Kashmir is a safe place. And now investment can come in, tourism can also come in, because if the ministers are safe, I think the people by and large should feel safe while visiting Jammu and Kashmir. Now, on top of it, there is a definite developmental agenda which is being taken to Jammu and Kashmir. If you remember, in the first phase, the Prime Minister announced very ambitious projects of development in Jammu and Kashmir, implementing 5 new schemes in Jammu and Kashmir, which are all farmer benefit oriented. On top of it, there were about 85 schemes of the central government which were not visible in Jammu and Kashmir for obvious reasons. So therefore, now a package of development-oriented scheme is now being taken to Jammu and Kashmir, so that when the ice melts and the tourist season starts, by the time a ground has been laid for developmental schemes kickstart from there, and therefore height of winter has been chosen for ministerial visit. I think this kind of, as you also very rightly said, unprecedented move on the part of the Prime Minister Narendra Modi to send 36 ministers in 1 week, it obviously and definitely will have a salutary impact on the people of the state also. And moreover, what they need is employment. And therefore, if more and more schemes are implemented in Jammu and Kashmir, more and more investment is coming into Jammu and Kashmir, corporate world also starts looking towards Jammu and Kashmir as an investment destination. Foreign investors also start looking Jammu and Kashmir as a very congenial climate for investment. Obviously, the employment generation will also be there, and that is one of the root causes of the problem in J&K. Why youth was tilting towards the stone pelters? Because they were looking for job opportunity. So I think if you look at this in totality, it's a very positive move, a proactive approach which the government has taken, and I do feel that in the coming months, when we reach May and June, we will see a whole lot of tourism activity, developmental activity, investment activity taking place and creating job opportunities for the youth in the valley.
Mr. Tandon, obviously when ministers go, it is also a time for the political leadership, at the apex of the governance structure, to take direct feedback from people. So central government schemes are now fully applicable to Jammu and Kashmir, and particularly till the time it stays under the governor's rule, they will be directly, under the New Delhi's charge. So in that sense, it's also a great opportunity for the ministers themselves, like the railways minister, the commerce minister, the tourism minister, the minister of state in the prime minister's office, for them to take stock from people directly about what is amiss in the developmental story of Jammu and Kashmir till now, and what can give further fillip, which Mr. Modi certainly wants to give an accelerated push to the developmental activity in state of J&K.
Yes, of course. And I think in addition to that, what you have said, another very pertinent agenda which is being given to the ministers is to go and interact with the people and educate them about the benefits of abrogating 370 and bifurcating the state. Because on social media and also efforts from across the border to mislead the people of Jammu and Kashmir has been going on relentlessly, that this is not in your interest, and in fact Delhi has sabotaged all the Jammu and Kashmir autonomy and all that. So therefore their brief is also to go. In fact, if I remember correctly, the Prime Minister has said that these ministers should go even to the sensitive areas also and reach out to the people, interact with them, get a feedback, but also educate them about the steps taken by this government in bifurcating the state as well as abrogating 370. So therefore, it is not just the developmental talk which they have to do. They have to get, as you very rightly said, get a feedback from them, whether the fruits of development are reaching them, because in the last 70 years, couple of families which have ruled Jammu and Kashmir, and rampant corruption, the money sent from the center has never reached them. Fruits of development have never reached the people of Jammu and Kashmir. So therefore, what more needs to be done so that they benefit from the schemes of the central government, that kind of feedback also has to be there. And I personally feel when the ministers come back, they may be reporting back to the Prime Minister on the various ministries and departments which they are heading and what more needs to be done. So it's a twin objective. One is to educate the people of the state against the propaganda from across the border. Also, in fact, assure them that what we have done is not just a political move, but it also means that we want development in Jammu and Kashmir, and whatever more needs to be done will be given. So I think to check corruption in the state level, gear up the state level machinery to be development oriented, and also to counter the propaganda. See, earlier we used to see media reports, how many people killed by separatists or in this thing, our security forces were also being killed. Now there is hardly any bloodshed taking place in Jammu and Kashmir. The restrictions which were imposed in communications are also being gradually lifted. The mobiles are now active. So therefore, step by step situation is under control, not only on the security front, also on the diplomatic front, plus situation within the state also is now largely peaceful.
The issue is that, such kind of visits also, for the purposes of countering that propaganda that Pakistan will always push, do act as a bulwark in your opinion.
Of course, I do agree with you. And look at the response from the people. Now, initially many people are, thought that it's all stage managed, people will be brought by the government effort, and therefore it will be a meaningless exercise. But in the last couple of days we have seen there is a spontaneous response from the people. People are participating in the interaction. Even in the height of winter, people are participating, even public meetings, and they are listening to them, and it's a big surprise for them that so many ministers are visiting, even if their promises are not fulfilled, but at least their viewpoint will be put across, it will be reaching the center. And I think somehow there is a feeling in the state that they have hope and confidence in the Prime Minister, because he has done a political job and he has assured the people of the state that within a couple of years the Jammu and Kashmir will be at par with the rest of the country in development in every respect, and therefore people will be giving an opportunity, if I may say, will give a chance to the central government to do the needful, both in respect of developmental projects and also in the political process also. When the elections take place, the local people, the very people of sons of the soil and daughters of the soil will be contesting election. They will be becoming MLAs. They will be becoming councillors. Someone will become the chief minister also. And gradually the release of the political leadership which has been in detention also is being watched. I think people of Jammu and Kashmir are watching the situation. They are gradually coming out of the fear psychosis under which they have been living from separatists and also terrorists being infiltrated into Jammu and Kashmir. So it's a gradual process. In the last 5-6 months, quite a lot has been done, has been achieved also. And there is no reason why when the summer season starts in Jammu and Kashmir, we'll see development taking place, tourism also promoting, and job opportunities will be created. That's my feeling.
And of course, with all these central ministers, as you said, that the time for intervention probably will be when snow starts to melt. So with all these central ministers visit, any particular projects that need further push, any further assistance from Government of India, any aid increase that is required in specific sectors, all of that can also be calibrated. So in that sense also, it certainly will not be tinged with the bureaucratic feedback channels that usually it is coming to the central ministries and central government. It will be one-on-one direct feedback coming from people to the ministers themselves. And in that sense, it also, many would say, blunts the criticism that for the want of democratically elected representatives, you are not fulfilling the aspirations of people, because the ministers, even if they are elected from different parts of India, are certainly elected representatives of people.
One thing we should not forget, that Prime Minister 6 months ago had appealed to the private sector, to the corporate sector also, to go and invest in Jammu and Kashmir. So if the investment starts flowing into Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh also from the corporate side, from the private sector, so that will balance, give a fillip to the government efforts in the developmental activities, because the governmental development activities are one aspect. But if there is private sector and corporate sector going there, and even multinational going to Jammu and Kashmir, because there is a whole lot of opportunity for the world-class tourism infrastructure. So if the tourism infrastructure is in place, if the road transport sector is there, if the railways are there, if the civil aviation sector also reaches out to Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh, there is no reason why the international tourism will also not flow into Jammu and Kashmir. So I think the roadmap which the Prime Minister has set for Jammu and Kashmir's development, this is a major milestone in that direction, with 36 ministers representing various departments of the Government of India reaching out to the people, interacting with them, also unfolding the schemes which they have in mind.
In that sense, Mr. Tandon, would you say that this ministerial visit, which is right now more tilted towards Jammu because of the weather and Darbar being in Jammu, can also and should also be replicated in favor of with a tilt towards Srinagar?
No. In fact, several ministers have been visiting Srinagar also. In fact, not only Srinagar, but even some of the sensitive areas in the valley also. Railway Minister Piyush Goyal has gone to Srinagar. Several ministers have gone to Srinagar. So I think it's a package both for Jammu and Srinagar. But I'm also hoping that when weather improves, a similar exercise will be taken in respect of Ladakh also, because right now weather perhaps is very difficult terrain in Ladakh. So it is not only for Jammu or say for that matter the valley, but also the other part, that is Ladakh. So bifurcation should be in favor of or in the larger interest of Jammu and Kashmir. That point has to be proved. I think is an exercise in that direction.
Thank you, Mr. Tandon.
Thank you.
You were listening to a discussion on development policies and projects in Jammu and Kashmir. The participants were Ashok Tandon, political analyst, and Nikunj Garg, journalist. This program was produced and presented by the News Services Division of All India Radio. This program is also available on the website newsonair.com. You can also follow us on the News on AIR app for updates. You may email your opinion about this program at airnsdtalks@gmail.com.